Welcome back to Ask Katie the Drug Lady, and I am Katie the Drug Lady. So on today's episode, I'd like to talk about medications and pharmacies in the media. So there's been a lot going on. I see a ton of stuff blowing up on Facebook, on YouTube, all over the place, and I just want to explain a couple of things, talk about a couple issues, and maybe correct some clickbait that's out there, because I've seen a few things. First thing I want to address is the coupon Carl incident with CVS. There's been a lot of other issues where people have been recording things in pharmacies when they have bad customer service. I am not going to defend that cashier. I'm not going to defend any actions of any front store employees that handled situations badly. We all had the training. One coupon is not worth your freaking job. It's definitely no need to call 911. I actually have a cousin who works as a 911 operator, and I'm sure she would tell you that would infuriate her, infuriates me, because I've been in management before. That's what I plan to do with the rest of my career, is do management, and customer service is my forte. I love it. I love talking to people and helping people with their issues, and those were definitely not the way to handle things. To address the videotaping, though, it's one thing to go videotaping in Subway or Walmart or someplace like that, but you're in a pharmacy. So there's stickers all over the trash cans, there's things all over the place saying, please don't throw away your information because that's protected health information. Pharmacy staff has to go through a lot of training, and the front store staff goes through training about privacy laws. So when you go in recording, you could accidentally record something private of somebody's, and that's not fair to them. They weren't a part of the issue. I will say, with big chain retail, there's lots and lots and lots of security. You have no idea. I think there's at least like 10 cameras on me at all times when I work, okay? And the front store is included. No, there's not voice recording, but you can tell a lot from cameras. Not only that, is management's going to believe you. They will. We get lots of customer complaints, and I'll tell you right now, the first thing that I think is not, oh, this person's crazy, my staff is perfect. No. The first thing we think is, oh my God, what did my coworker do? Okay? So, I promise you, they're going to believe you. There's no need to record and put other people's privacy in jeopardy. So please just remember that. If you have a bad experience, just call their district manager. You will be believed. Okay? Please keep other people's, private health information out of it, okay? So that's all I want to say about that. I saw a lot of things on Facebook about a month ago, and I kind of want to dispel those issues. So there's a lot of, I don't know if this was clickbait. I didn't go into the article because it just infuriated me that the article was even called this, but I saw a lot for Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, that the pharmacies were refusing to fill more than like a 5 or 7 day supply of an opioid medication. So the reason I didn't do this yet was there was actually a law being discussed, and it's actually been passed since then. But what happened is, due to the whole opioid epidemic, which if you haven't heard of the opioid epidemic, you live under a rock. Like, I don't know what to talk to you about with that. So the pendulum always swings back and forth. When I first started, we were really strict on opioids. People who really needed them couldn't get them because we were so stringent on it, and then it swung back, and then everybody was getting them again, and it just keeps going back and forth. So this is just, we're in the pendulum swing of we're being really cautious, because people are ODing out there. They are very scary substances, and I can do a whole video on opioids, I promise. But to get ahead of the opioid epidemic, insurance companies, not pharmacies, decided to put plan limitations on opioids. So, for instance, if I were to bring in my oxycodone, I don't take oxycodone, but if I did, my 30-day supply of oxycodone, and I ran it through my insurance, it would flag as what's a prior authorization. I have a whole video on prior authorizations, which I might record over because it's a little fuzzy, but all that means is my doctor would need to call my insurance company and say she has a chronic illness, chronic pain issue. Probably would have to answer some questions of, have I had a pain management consult? And pain management consults are very in-depth, severe consults about the, the problems with opioids, constipation, death, big issues, guys. Okay, so I sat in on one with my dad. My dad had chronic pain from Vietnam. His leg was crushed. So I sat in on one of those, and I'm telling you, after one, you don't even want to take an aspirin. It's crazy. So I kind of wonder if some people are having that in-depth discussion, or maybe they just don't care. Because there's still some people taking some stuff that might kill them. So it's just a way for us to try and get ahead of it. So since then, a law was passed, and the law states that if you have had an acute, surgery, dental thing, anything that does not require, not a chronic issue that you need every single day. If you've had a surgery, if you've had dental, if you've had a tooth pulled, you can only receive from the doctor a 5-day supply of a narcotic or a controlled substance, of an opioid. So that includes tramadol, hydrocodone, oxycodone, oxymorphone, dilaudid, all of it. 5 days. Okay? Now, I will say that to get around this, some of the doctors, and I don't know how ethical this is. I've seen it now. I guess doctors don't want you having to come back in 5 days or getting that call of like, I ran out, help. And you have to go all the way back to their office and get that unless they've set up for like e-prescribing, which not everybody is. So to keep that from happening, I see doctors shoving like the highest amount they can into 5 days. So I'll see, instead of, they would normally write, take one tablet every 6 hours as needed. They will shove it in to take 1 to 2 every 6 to 8 hours as needed, or 4 to 6 hours as needed. And then they tell the patient, don't take it this way, just so that they have a little buffer so they don't have to go back. That can be a little scary to me, because if somebody who's opioid naive and you've never taken those, and you do take 2 every 4 hours, that can be really harsh to your system. It also, people might have leftovers, and then kids could get into it. So I don't agree with that mentality. I understand where they're coming from, but that's not how the law was written. There's a reason the law was written that way. So it's not the pharmacies dictating this. This came from insurance companies and then laws. So they are expanding which practitioners can write for opioids, so that's good. You don't have to necessarily go back to a doctor. You can possibly go to a physician's assistant if they're approved to fill those types of prescriptions. So, with every law, there's some good and some bad. But I will say, to keep people from having a whole bunch of dangerous medication in their cabinet, or accidentally ODing, it's a really good thing that we've passed this law. But I just wanted to kind of take the burden off the pharmacy, because I feel like we get blamed for a lot of stuff that we didn't do or ask for. The last thing I want to talk about was the gabapentin thing. Oh my God, I get so many calls about gabapentin because of things people read on social media, and this is from people who don't even take gabapentin. Why do you care? Lord. So gabapentin is probably going to become controlled. It's controlled in other states, not in South Carolina at the moment, but it still comes in my controlled inventory. It can be a dangerous medication, okay? We didn't realize this when it came out, because in low doses it's not. It's not an issue at all. The normal dose range of like 100 milligrams 3 times a day, 300 milligrams 3 times a day is not a dangerous issue. You do have to titrate up. So you start at 100, go to 300, go to 600, go to 800. They found in those high doses, such as 600 or 800, multiple times a day, usually in the 800 category or more, I've seen people take just massive amounts of this stuff, guys. It's crazy. And the funny thing about gabapentin is we don't exactly know how it works. We think it works on our GABA receptors in our brain, which kind of down-regulates everything, and that's why it lowers nerve pain. It helps with not really some people say it helps with depression. We'll get into why. But nerve pain especially, it can help a certain population of people with seizures. But the problem is, if you don't have seizures and you're on this really high dose and you don't titrate back down, it can start seizures. Because if you think about it, if it's kind of suppressing all those little neurons and craziness in your brain, and then you stop it, your brain's immediate response is to go, wee, we're not being suppressed anymore, and go crazy, right? So you can have seizures if you're on that really high dose and you stop it immediately. So again, not at the lower doses. So they normally suggest titrating up by about 25% every week, and then lowering by 25% every week until off. So they found after this had been out for a long time, and we thought this was like a really safe drug and it wasn't addictive, that those really high doses of 800 3 times a day or more can cause a euphoric effect. And I've seen people come in and they want their gabapentin refilled ridiculously early, and they'll pay for it and they don't care, and they'll pay for it off their insurance, and they need it. And I will say, if they're abusing it and then they're out of it, we really need to fill it, because they're going to seize if they if we don't. But at the same time, that's not what that's for. So it's a really fine line, but that's why it's probably going to be controlled, which is going to be a real big burden on the pharmacy, because controlled substances, we usually double count, just to make sure that we are giving people the accurate amount and not shorting them because of the laws on when they can refill them. And that's going to be really hard with the quantities that people get. People get like 90 to 180 to 360 every single month. That's going to be a huge burden on the poor technicians. So, stick with that. Keep looking into it. But there is a reason for it. And again, if you're on the lower doses, you don't have to worry. If you're not getting euphoric off of it, you don't have to worry about an addiction issue. But I seriously get called. There will be people who take 300 milligrams a day. That's all. You're fine. I don't even think you have to titrate if it's that low. You don't. Oh, I will say this though, gabapentin can be dangerous in pregnancy, so please, if you're pregnant and you are on these high doses, please try to find a way to titrate down while you're pregnant, because they have found that it crosses the placenta, and there are babies being born that are then going through withdrawal. That can be mitigated by breastfeeding. There are mothers. And I'm not going to make a statement on how I feel about that as a mom, but there are mothers who have, they take medications every day for issues that they have, withdrawal and other things, and the baby comes out also needing this. So mothers will breastfeed to mitigate the withdrawal. So, but it's still scary. It's scary, guys. Try to do your best as a mom. It's really hard to be a mom, but that's one thing we can control and we can try. So, let's keep up the good work, everybody, and please like and subscribe to this video if I hope this helped with those things in the media popping up. That's another reason on my Facebook page, I put up things all the time, dispelling these little issues. There's one about that permanent birth control lawsuit going around, and why you shouldn't be worried about IUDs, because that's a different thing. But check out Katie the Drug Lady Facebook page for more information on that, and please stay tuned to the next video. Have a good day!